resident Indians. So yes, we have Mr. Shyam Sundar with us. A huge round of applause, please. And formal welcome, we invite Mr. Venkat Ramanasi to kindly join us.
வணக்கம் எல்லாம் கிளியரா கேட்கறதா நான் சொல்லுங்க I'll start with a small story. Giving gifts can be quite an art. The correct ஒரு gift வாங்கி கொடுத்து அவங்க அதிலிருந்து satisfaction கிடைக்கிறது கேர்ஃபுல்லாக பண்ண வேண்டிய விஷயம். சில சமயம் gift கொடுக்கும்போது அது சரியாக கொடுக்கலன்னா அது போய் ஒரு ஷெல்ஃபில் போய் வைக்கணும். So I had a chance now to have a very good, positive gift-giving experience. அதாவது எங்கள் டீமில் ஒரு சின்ன என்னோட கலீகோட ஒரு குழந்தைங்க 7 வயசு 8 வயசு குழந்தை அவளோட பர்த்டேக்கு we bought her a nice gift. The gift was a toy, a doctor set. எனக்கு அந்த வயசு இருந்ததுன்னா நான் அந்த கிஃப்ட் கிடச்சிருந்தா ரொம்ப சந்தோஷப்பட்டுப்பேன். ரொம்ப அழகாக இருந்தது. அதில் ஸ்டெத்தோஸ்கோப்பு, பிபி மெஷரிங் எல்லாம் இருந்தது. ஸோ when I gave it to the child was so happy. பரவாயில்லையா கொஞ்சம் தமிழ் கொஞ்சம் இங்கிலீஷ்? So when I gave the gift, the child was very happy. Soon what she did was she started going around and taking everybody's BP, everybody's thermometer. Went to one person after another and said, உங்களுக்கு இதுதான் இந்த வியாதி, அதனால இந்த மெடிசன் எடுத்துக்கங்க. உங்களுக்கு இதில் உடம்பு சரியில்லை, so you need this kind of treatment. For a 7-year-old little girl, that is cute. For me, here, today, to come here and tell you all how to run your business is not cute. So good evening. I am very conscious of the fact that I am here in one of India's best IFA gatherings. There are many friends that I can see here whom I have known for 10, 15, 20 years even. So, இன்னைக்கு நான் என்ன சொன்னாலும் please don't take it as me standing here giving you all advice. நிச்சயமா இல்லை. What I'm going to do is talk about Peak Alpha's journey. And hopefully through that exercise, உங்களுக்கு if you find anything useful, I hope you find that to be of value. So my topic today is about one specific aspect of our journey. Achieving scale through teams, the Peak Alpha way. So in the June 1 June 1st, we turned 20. Thank you. So it's been a fantastic journey. And I'm so happy to share some of that with all of you. We work with about 6,500 customers, out of whom there are about 1,500 families with whom we have long-term relationships. We have about 2,000 crores of assets under management. அது ரொம்ப முக்கியங்க, எல்லாரும் கேட்பாங்க. அது கேட்கறதுக்கு முன்னாடி நான் சொல்லிடுறேன். So to achieve this, we have a team of about 50 people. Oh, okay. So we have a team of about 50 people, and many of them work with customers. They are advisors, they work with customers. But apart from that, we have quite a large other team. Another background, I was in management consulting before I started Peak Alpha. So I'm very comfortable with technology. So a lot of Peak Alpha's business processes we've been able to automate. I'll talk a little bit about that. But our goal, it's always tricky to write a goal, because once you write a goal, you really hope to get there. But our goal is to become 5 times our size by 2030. Now I have the confidence being able to put this up because we just heard from Vishal the beautiful story of ABSL about how they were able to reboot, refresh, and really achieve substantial performance. You know, if you set your mind to something, you'll be able to do it. Adanga Engas, in the next, between now and 2030, we hope to be 5 times our size. But there is one particular aspect of this that I want to talk to you about, which is how our journey has been. When we started the company, this is how we were. We were a 5-member team. The interesting thing is, pretty much on June 1st of 2005, we were a 5-member team. When we started, we were a 5-member team. So it was very clear that we will have a team, and we will have a growing team throughout. So today we look a little bit like this. So PVR lo cinema paaka ponom. So anga edthom idu. This is me. Konjam healthy ah irukken solvanga. So in the question, in the mari gatherings, groups la naan pogumbodhu nariya in the question enakkum Priyakum varum. Priya is my co-founder, director, better half, everything. She's sitting here in front. Priya, why don't you stand up for a second? Easy question la engittu kelunga. Konjam kashtamana question la angittu kelunga. So in the mari gatherings la naanga pogumbodhu, often people will come and ask us, unga team's journey eppadi irundhirukku? You know, why did you have teams? What is the benefit of having teams? Team pota ida aidada nariya kavala. So why not have teams? One very important reason is ella nalla thane poittu irukku. Everything is just fine. So why should we have teams? You know, my customers I am able to handle. I am able to give them a good level of service. Everything is fine. You know, why should I change? Second, obviously, financial implications. Ninga sondama oru company nadthittirukkumbodhu financial situation eppadi irundhalum paravalla. But as soon as you have an employee, you have to make sure that you can pay the salaries every month, month after month. In the 20 years la na enna panneno pannalayo, the one thing that I made sure we did throughout this 20-year period is to make sure that we didn't miss our payroll for even 1 day by 1 rupee. Very, very important. Right? Most people think of this as basic hygiene. It is basic hygiene, but you need to do it. Once you have a team, this becomes a responsibility. Idu periya kavala. This is something that many people are worried about. Seri nama team la eduthutom orala. Nalla ellam kattu kodthom. But at the end of it, 6 months later, 1 year later, 1.5 years later, they left. But கூடவே நம்ம கிளையண்ட்ஸையும் எடுத்துட்டு போயிட்டாங்க.
ஒரு டீமையும் கூட்டிட்டு போயிடுவாங்க.
சான்ஸ் கிடைச்சா டீமையும் கூட்டிட்டு போயிடுவாங்க. So this is a real risk, right? People are worried about this, and this I would say is one of the most important reasons why people are hesitant to hire a team. Correct, Anna? And lastly, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಂಪನಿ ನಡ್ತಿದ್ದು ஒரு மாதிரி நடத்திடலாம். But suppose you have to manage a team that requires a slightly different skill set. Yeah, management processes you'll need to have a certain set of disciplines to be put in place, training pananam, you have to do all of that. So this set of things often is the reason why people say, I'm happy, I have about 100, 150, 200 customers, I have a reasonable assets under management, and I'm fine, right? I don't want this headache of teams. So na modala sonna mari, please don't take away that teams are the way to go. Not necessarily. You can go down that path. But if you're happy running a very high quality company by yourself, that also is totally fine. Whatever works for you. But why did we go down this path of teams? Isaac Newton, who is one of the geniuses of the world, invented so many things, had this to say about his achievements. If I have seen further than others, it is because I stood upon the shoulders of giants. Either Isaac Newton, if this fits, I think all of us can benefit from that. If you want to see far, right, it helps to get the support of people who lift you up a little bit. So why teams? Peak Alpha's name is Peak Alpha Investment Services Private Limited. It is a company. The legal entity is a company. But the word company is a little bit more than that. We're all together and we enjoy sharing stories. என்னோட businessல இந்த மாதிரி ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு, இந்த மாதிரி market situationல நான் இந்த மாதிரி பண்ணேன். We share these stories because humans are naturally social animals. We like to be with people. So whatever be some of the other reasons here, one very important reason is that the journey has been nicer because we traveled that journey together as a team. When we had certain achievements, we had a set of people to celebrate it with. When we had some challenges, we had other people coming and saying, this will also go by, we're all here to work through this together. So this idea of a company is very important. Frankly, the journey has been very enjoyable because we always had a team together. Second is delegation. It's a very important thing. Company நாங்க ஆரம்பிச்ச போது எல்லாமே நாங்க தான் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தோம். We used to do everything together. Cleaning out the garbage, making sure the door was locked when we left the office at night. Entire everything. Strategy also, this also. But I like to believe that I am good at certain things and the company will benefit if I spend more of my time doing what I am really good at. So அதை மட்டும் நான் பண்ணிட்டு ஒரு customer application form fill பண்றது நான் பண்ணாம if I can give it to somebody else, it frees up my time. And that allows me to focus on strategy, technology and all of those things. So this delegation is a very important benefit of having a team. Now whether you choose to have team members who engage with your customers and give them advice or have a back office support, which many people have done, execution operations எல்லாம் அவங்க பண்ணிட்டோம், மீதி customer facing எல்லாம் நான் பண்றேன், that can also work quite nicely. But delegation is one important benefit. I'll tell you a story about this resilience. சென்னையில் இருந்த ஒரு client, he had been with me for about 7 or 8 years at that point. Very good relationship, very good experience, but he asked me one question which really made me think. He said, Shyam, you are doing my financial planning. You are thinking about my life, my future, what will happen to my family in case I am not there. இதெல்லாம் நீங்க பண்றீங்க for us. But for the last 7 years, once every 3 months we've been meeting and you have now become very important for us as a family. Now please tell me, don't mistake me for asking this because என் மனசுல இருக்கு இந்த கேள்வி நான் கேட்கிறேன். இப்போ நீங்க இல்லைன்னா what happens to our finances? நியாயமான question இல்லையா? So this is what I'm talking about in terms of resilience. How does it work when one person is not there? Will the customers still be taken care of? They are betting on you being there for their life so that all their dreams, goals and everything are achieved. But suppose you're not there, does that mean that their financial planning is over? Yeah? It can't be like that, right? So when you have a team, some part of the responsibilities are shared with other people, so they are able to take care of it. The other thing that you get when you have a team is diversity. I have a slide about this a little later, so maybe I'll talk about this more then. But it helps to have a different group of people. People coming from different backgrounds, different ways in which they were brought up, different attitudes, different skills. And lastly, reinforcement. What do I mean by reinforcement? இப்போ ஒரு குழாய் இருக்கு, there's a water pipe that is going. And wherever there are weak points, what do? ஒரு tape எடுத்து அதை கட்டிடுவோம் இல்லையா? Suppose it is leaking, that's what we do. Wherever it is becoming weak, we give some strength. That is what is reinforcement. So from a team, what reinforcement can you get? One is reinforcement in numbers. We had a SEBI audit. This happy thing will now happen very regularly. Once every 3 years, we will have a SEBI audit. Similarly, we'll have an AMFI audit also. Any mutual fund people still here? Fund house people? It is hard work when you have an AMFI audit, or a year-page question, all kinds of questions in it. So we have to go through that. So some of this is unexpected, and when we get that, suddenly the workload for the whole team spikes up. But because we are a team of 50 people, it is possible for us to say, 3 of you drop whatever you're doing, come and start working on this and get it completed. So one is reinforcement of numbers. But the previous speaker had a beautiful statement, I think Sundar was also talking about it, about belief systems. So reinforcement is not only in numbers, but it's also in terms of belief systems. But when we started the company, we said we will treat our customers' money as if it was our own. This ethical standard was very important to us from the beginning. And it continues for the last 20 years. But the nice thing is that now it is not just Priya or I who are saying this. Many people have completely bought into that. So this reinforcement of a belief system is also very important. So this is why having a team has helped us. So எதனாலங்கிறது நான் சொல்லியாச்சு. So how to run a team, I'll talk a little bit about. Is it art? Is it science? Yeah, absolutely. There is definitely an aspect of it. ஒரு புக்கை திறந்து பார்த்துட்டு இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு எம்ப்ளாயி வந்து ரொம்ப சேடாக வந்து உங்கள்கிட்ட உட்காந்துட்டு இருக்கும்போது பேஜ் நம்பர் 65ல என்ன எழுதியிருக்குன்னு படித்து சொல்ல முடியாது. Right? So some part of it is art. How do you deal with certain personal situations is definitely an art when it comes to managing a team. But எல்லாமே ஆர்ட்டா விட்டுற முடியாது. There has to be some science to it. There has to be process. You have to put in place robust processes. So I'll talk about that also. Bit of art, bit of science. Both are necessary. But I talked about diversity. along with the diversity, there has to be a common thread that runs through the whole company. So we had these things that we said from the beginning is common to all our employees. A strong philosophy around code of ethics, zero tolerance for mis-selling. When we started itself, we said we want to create a company that doesn't serve 5 customers, 10 customers, 20 customers. We wanted to offer good quality advice to a lot of people. So everything that we did was with that focus. Second thing is we tried to create a system where our employees feel confident in taking risks and making mistakes. Try pani paranga, you know. If you have an idea, go ahead and run with it. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't work, don't worry. We're not going to come running after you saying, why did you do that? So that sort of environment definitely helped. And we are in a serious business. My last presentation to you today is after many sessions that you would have heard throughout the day. Nama industry la simple irundha kuda adha complicate panni pesuradhu nama palakkam. So simple solla mudinja adha vittu nama oru nalla jargon la potu masala la potu nama pesuvom. So in a world that is already quite complicated, it is important that when everybody comes to work every day, try and keep things a little light. So our work culture also has been that, yes, it is very important to take care of your customers' money. Yes, it is important to give good advice. But let us try and strike a right balance between that and making sure that working at peak hours. So Idila, what is the role of a leader? Time check. 20 minutes. What is the role of a leader? Very important. A leader of the company or a leader of a team is like an engine. What do I mean by that? Enga pono. Where should the company go? Setting that direction. You know, like we said, 5 years later, we want to be 5 times our size. That is something that the leader should write, saying, hey, this is what we should try and achieve. So setting the mission and the vision is an important part of a leader's job. Between Priya and I, we manage roughly half the assets under management of the company. It's important because we need to demonstrate to our team that we're not just going to sit there and talk about how the job is done. We work with clients every day. So we know what they are doing, we know the challenges that they are facing because very often their challenges are our challenges as well. So you have to lead by example. Africa, there are some tribes. And there are many people in those tribes, some of whom are average importance, some of whom are a little more important, somebody is a chief. But there is one particular type of person who is very important. This person is a rainmaker. So what does a rainmaker do? It's mostly agricultural. Their life is mostly agricultural. So this rainmaker is the person who can come and do the necessary rituals, do the necessary prayers to make it rain. He's one of the most important persons of that tribe. So a rainmaker is the one who makes rain happen. A leader needs to be a rainmaker also. A leader needs to be someone who can create the future opportunities, the future growth of the company. Similarly, growth engine. It is one thing to say we want to grow and we want to become this size, but that has to be managed very carefully. I can't come back after 5 years and see how we are done. I have to track it every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year. Right? And through that process, in case we are not going in the direction we want to, take corrective action and bring us back on track. So we have to be the growth engine. Problem solver, that's an interesting one. You have to be the last resort. If All the other choices are gone. They should be able to come up to you and say, நான் எல்லாம் ட்ரை பண்ணி பார்த்துட்டேன், இது முடிய மாட்டேங்கிறது, என்ன பண்றது? So we should be able to either have the answer or reach the answer. You should be able to pick up the phone and talk to the CEO of that concerned AMC and say, please help out. You know, we've tried this, but it's not working. Can you get somebody to help us with this? Okay? So you have to be problem solver. Conscience keeper, obvious. If you say that you have to be a very ethical company, it is up to you to make sure that you drive that. Builder of future engines. So you are an engine, but one of your jobs is also build future engines. Now, everything that I've said here about the role of a leader, this is not my job description. It is the job description of every team leader in the company. If in the advisory team, there are 5 teams. Each team has a manager. This is what I expect from every manager to do. They have to be responsible for that team's AUM. They have to be responsible for making rain, be the growth engine, solve the problems, be the conscience keeper. All of this is not just our jobs. It is the job of anybody in our company who has to be a leader, who wants to be a leader, who is a leader. Now, we are talking about the art side of the equation. So, from an art perspective, these are 3 or 4 principles that we have, which helps in managing a team. The first one is to recognize that people are different. Each and every person has the potential, has the ability to make a real difference to peak alpha. Now, it is then our job to figure out how that person can be an asset. What are their strengths? What are their areas for development? How to bridge that so that they become also an asset to the company. You know, as you see in the picture, this is the Indian cricket team. They're not all the same. You have people from different parts of the country, different heights, different build. They're just very different people, but yet they come together and work powerfully as a team. So this is one thing. Not a broad brush. If you have a team of 20 people who are in operations, this is how they will behave, is not a good approach. It is important to identify each person and figure out what makes them tick and work with them effectively. It's important that they come to work feeling challenged. They come to work feeling like, okay, I have to stretch a little bit to get my work done. If you stretch it too much, of course, we all know what happens to a rope when it stretches too much. It breaks, right? So you don't want that. You need to know how much to stretch, and it varies from person to person. But if the person's potential is 100 and you're getting them operating at only 60 or 70, that's not a good place, because the balance 30-40 will go in other areas that you don't want, right? So it's important to have this stretch also. It's a management practice when you're managing teams, to make sure that you identify how much somebody can do and give them 105, 110. You have the teams competing among themselves. You have the individuals in a team also competing amongst each other. It has 2 main benefits. One benefit, in a company, if you're a high performer, you like the recognition. If you are the best in the class, you know, the report card says you are number 1 out of 35, you feel good about that. So if you're a high performer, you like to see that. It's hard for people who are at the bottom of the class, but you know, if you're a very good student, then it's nice to be told that you are at the top of your class. But the second is, this is also a motivating factor to get people to, you know, come in, compete and work hard, right? So this is another sort of fundamental thing when we are looking at a team.